You may remember how some time ago I spoke about the Street Fighter V Capcom Pro Tour Premiere package that was pretty damn expensive. It had 3 new costumes, a new stage, and some colours and special titles for about £20. Quite expensive considering what you actually get inside it. However, as I said also at the time, Capcom did say that a portion of these proceeds would go to the prize pool for the Capcom Cup 2016. However, this DLC didn't seem to go down too well, mostly due to the pricing. However, now Capcom have spoken out about this rather controversial piece of DLC and have actually gone into a bit more detail about the quote-unquote portion that goes to the Capcom Pro Tour. They made a post on the PlayStation blog and said that a minimum of 30% of the revenue gotten from the Premier DLC goes into the prize pool for Capcom Cup 2016, and an additional 50% is invested into the Capcom Pro Tour production. It basically means that 80% of the DLC revenue goes directly into supporting the Capcom Pro Tour itself. So you have to wonder, why was this not made a bit clearer when they first announced the DLC? You know, this might have made the taste of this DLC a little less bitter in people's mouths. Or perhaps not, because the price is still pretty damn steep given the lack of content. It's all well and good to say that, oh yeah, it goes into the prize pool for the Capcom Pro Tour, and that definitely might sway some people who like to support the esports scene for Street Fighter V and in general, but I feel like for some people it's still going to be like, oh okay, so you're charging us more so that you can pay pro gamers more. Okay. I mean, really, the best thing to do would just be give more content for this price tag, and then obviously perhaps it would be even less bitter for people, but perhaps if that was the case, they couldn't give such a large portion to the Pro Tour. But let's get on to Capcom's comments, shall we? According to them, there has been an increase of $90,000 in the prize pool due to the sales of the DLC, and roughly at the time of recording, the prize pool for this year's event is $342,182. So it seems the DLC did indeed have at least some effect. And Capcom said, quote, "Our goal is to have an impressive prize pool for Capcom Cup 2016. The biggest in fighting game history, and we want our fans to know they had a part in helping us achieve that once we reach that milestone later this year." This comment comes from Nigel Chrisan, the digital director of digital media and esports, and he continued, quote, "Keep in mind, we contribute a portion of our sponsorship, ad revenue and merchandise sales into the Capcom Pro Tour and Capcom Cup prize pool as well. We feel the price point is in line with our vision of investing in the community, as it will allow us to provide more opportunities to tournament organisers and content creators, while also continue to have record-setting prize pools at Capcom Cup. In short, we did not create this content with the intention of making large profits for ourselves, we created it to help support the community. With that, you should look at this as your contribution to the fighting game community. But no matter what Capcom Pro Tour DLC item you purchase, this is your optional donation to the scene, while getting some great content in return." So yeah, while this explanation at the time of launch, or should I say announcement for this DLC, might have sweetened the taste for some people, I still feel like that it still wouldn't have gone down well, to be honest, because a lot of people are going to feel like, okay, so you're asking for money through this DLC. Granted, I'm not you're not just asking for donations. You're giving us content so that I can pay for this tournament that I don't care about. Okay. And of course, this DLC is optional. It is only a couple of costumes and a stage. It's nothing, vital that you need to be in the meta or whatever. But of course, people are still going to be a little bit upset about the fairly high price tag for the lack of content. And to be honest, what Capcom really should have done is explain the things that I just said, but also give reasons why people should care, because a lot of people are really passionate about esports, especially when it's their game of choice. I love, for example, StarCraft 2. I watch too much StarCraft 2, to be honest. I do watch EVO every year for Street Fighter 5, but I'm not particularly passionate about it. So obviously this DLC is not meant for me. I don't even play Street Fighter 5 because I saw the lack of content and just thought no. That's beside the point. But, if you kind of say, look, hey, here's why you should care, and here's how it's going to work out, then it probably would have gone down a bit better. but not by much, because you know, other people are feeling like, hey, you're charging £20 for not very much content that probably should be in the game to begin with, for a tournament that perhaps I don't care about, to fund people who are making a lot of money because they're professionals, or potentially if they're, you know, getting to like number 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Of course, not everyone who goes to Pro Tour is making huge bank, but that's probably how people would still feel about it, to be honest. So perhaps this vision was ill-advised from Capcom. I definitely feel like there's probably no right way to go about this. There was definitely a better way to go about it, but I just think that this idea was probably doomed from the start. You know, if you wanted to raise money and increase the prize pool for the tournament, then there probably was another way to go about it other than, hey, here's some DLC. £20 for a new arena and some costumes and some colours. Yeah, that's not really going to go down well. But you've heard my thoughts. I've tried to address both sides, but I'm kind of on the falling side of the consumer here, as I tend to do. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, as always. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you next time.